For the next hour, deepen your shade of green. This is the Shades of Green radio show, featuring the latest in technology, money-saving ideas, legislative updates, and all things green. The Shades of Green radio show is presented by the Green Alliance. Now here's your hosts, Paul Ira and Stan Hannell.
Good morning. This is Shades of Green radio show, simulcast on KDWN 720 AM and KDWN 101.5 FM, the only talk radio FM in the Valley. Our show is produced by the Green Alliance of Nevada and sponsored by NV Energy, and I am your host, Paul Ira. Today in studio we have Brian Kunec, president of KB Homes, along with Craig LeMessurier, senior director of public relations with KB Homes. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
And of course, now the famous Stan Hannell and Annette Bubak is recording us for Facebook Live. So good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Today we're talking efficient homes and new construction of homes and the great things that KB Homes is putting into their homes. So first, Brian, introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your background and how you got involved with KB Homes.
Sure, Paul. I'm the regional general manager at KB Home, so I run the Las Vegas market and I oversee the Seattle, Washington market. I've been in new home construction over 15 years. And I've been in the industry, for that time period, mostly with public home builders, and I've been with KB over 3 years.
Thank you. That's great. And how long has KB Homes been doing sustainable design features in their new homes?
Well, Paul, at KB, we're always committed to innovation. It's part of our DNA at KB. We have a proud history of pushing the envelope on what's possible in home building. So for over 15 years now, we've built homes that are Energy Star certified.
Really? That's great. And how do you get to that certification?
There's various components within the house. So there's a scoring system to it that you have to follow to be able to get to the Energy Star certified. So it's all about the building science part of the home.
So you include solar, photovoltaic in your homes?
We don't include solar, no, but we include features such as water smart faucets and fixtures, tankless water heaters, upgraded insulation, things of that sort.
Great. And what's your take on tankless water heaters?
My take is I think they're tremendous. I mean, versus the old tank system, the tankless kicks on when you need and there's a demand for hot water, whereas the tank system, when that water starts getting cooler, your fire and your gas automatically comes on, so you're wasting that utility bill, that gas power, by continuously heating that, whereas the tank system doesn't have the water in the tank, and when you turn on a faucet for hot water, it kicks it on demand and only runs when you need that hot water.
Right. So one of the things I always tell people is once you get hot water, you never run out with a tankless. As long as you're using it, you got hot water. Where with a tank heater, you're storing hot water, plus you could run out if you've got a lot of people using it. Today, it seems like new home buyers are looking at Wi-Fi and wireless devices connectivity as essential components of a new home in the same way as plumbing and electrical wiring. It's starting to become just kind of a standard. What type of smart home technologies are being offered by KB Homes with Inspirata community in Henderson?
Yeah, so great question, Paul. We recently launched KB Smart Home at Inspirata, and as part of that, we partnered up with Google with their advanced artificial intelligence platform. So in certain of our products at Inspirata, we have a package that's standard that's being offered as part of that, as part of the Google platform. And so what comes with that is you get a Google Wi-Fi mesh network, which basically just the mesh network makes sure that your signal stays consistently strong. We're also offering 2 smart speakers. One's a Google Home and one's a Google Home Mini. And then the Nest Hello video doorbell. Those doorbells, when you come up, you ring the doorbell, people inside could see who's at the door. A Wi-Fi-enabled smart thermostat as well we offer in that package. So you could adjust and control your temperature thermostat from your smartphone. And then finally, one of the most exciting things about it is we partnered with Dish Home Services. And so when you get this option with KB Home as part of the partnership, you get in contact with a Dish Home Services installer, and they come and they do what we call a white glove delivery. So they come to your house after you close on your house. They do the installation for you. They show you how everything works. They'll even talk you through if you wanted to add other features beyond what we offer as standard to the Google Home platform, and they'll show you and help you add those on as well. And in addition to that, you could sign up. That's a 60-day program to make sure everything gets up and installed and is working properly. But they also have an extended service plan to where you could sign up for another year or two if you want. And then if you go out and you buy certain other products, they'll actually come to your house as part of that service plan and help integrate them into the platform.
Wow. So does that include a security system too?
It doesn't. It doesn't include a security system. The security system's separate, but again,
Could be added right on.
It could be added, correct.
And how about audio in the house?
As far as speakers go,
Yeah.
it has the Mini and the Google Home, which is a speaker in itself. And then again, if
That's a couple locations.
Yeah, if you wanted to add a few more Minis, you could do that as well. We also offer, at KB, our model is built to order. So what we like is we like people to go select their lot, come into our home studio. We have a design center ourselves, and customize the house at how they see fit with what they want and what's in their budget. Well, the exciting part of this is we'll actually offer other Google Home options in the studio as well if at the time of purchase they wanted to purchase other things such as indoor and outdoor cameras, some more speaker sets like you mentioned, things of that sort.
So you get the backbone to the system in the home, and then you could add on any features you'd like to add on.
Correct.
That's great. Yeah. So you could add on security, further audio if you wanted to, go high-tech, HD TV.
Yeah, motorized
lighting's
shades,
a really big one too. Shades, motorized shades,
yeah.
Yep. And
Nice.
lighting throughout the house where they control when they come in. It comes on automatically, so it's really neat.
It's all good stuff. I like to hear some more about this. We're going to go take a quick break, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about KB Homes here on Shades of Green. We'll be right back. Good morning, and we are back. Shades of Green radio show on KDWN 720 AM, 101.5 FM here in Las Vegas. Our show is produced by Green Alliance and sponsored by NV Energy, and I'm your host, Paul Ira. Today in studio we have Brian Kunec, president of KB Home, and Craig LeMessurier, senior director of public relations with KB Home. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
We were talking a little bit about home automation as we went to break. Let's go back into that. It is kind of a new age of smart homes, and here we are with Consumer Electronics Show all this week here in Las Vegas. I guess it's like the biggest show in the world.
Yes, for this particular item, and the biggest show in our city as far as the number of people that turn out, about 180,000.
180,000 people will come to this show, so that's a pretty big show. Bigger than my house parties, that's for sure.
The casinos were going crazy last night, I can tell you that.
I bet. The strip has got to be a zoo right now.
The news said the economic impact is $265 million.
$265 million in a week.
Yeah, I love it.
So a great time to go get lost on the strip. So speaking of all this new high-tech stuff we're going to be seeing at the show, tell us more about your smart homes and home automation and what you're including in the new age.
Yeah, so, Paul, a lot of our new KB homeowners are expecting more and more as far as smart home features go. There's a big trend in that direction, obviously. And at KB, we want to keep up with the trend and be ahead of the trends on the digital side. So, our motto is, we build homes for people's lifestyle, their preferences, but their budget as well. So what we want to do is take that to the next level with our built-to-order model, in that you come into our home studio and you could select structural options, you could select interior options, and now we have, obviously we're getting into with the Google Home partnership, a third layer of that to where you could customize your home beyond the initial setup and what we offer as far as our standard package to make your home, the smart home or your dreams, as far as, again, adding indoor and outdoor lights, the Wi-Fi enabled front door locks, things of that nature.
That's something I would like to have. I moved from a house with a 2-car garage, and you open your house with your garage door opener. Now I have a carport, and I have to unlock the door, and that seems so barbaric. I have to use a key to get into my house. So.
Yeah.
So you can do a lot more with these homes, and buyers, like Brian said, they're expecting it. They want to come in. They want to be able to set scenes. You can say, walk into your house when the game's on, right? Hey, Google, the Knights are on. right? The lights will change to a different color. The TV puts the night's game on, and it might say play some pump-up music on the Google speaker.
Yeah, in fact, that's a good point, Craig. At our project house out at Inspirata that's getting unveiled here at CES, there's another command to where you just say, "Hey, Google, I'm leaving." And so when you say that, it'll shut off the music, it'll shut off all your lights in your house, it'll roll your shades down automatically, and it'll set your security system as well. So just off that one command, it does multiple functions.
That's great. I kind of cut my teeth in sales selling building automation. So I've automated airports, capital complexes. So having that in your home and have it voice command is really kind of a big deal. That's the kind of thing I should have in my home, coming from that arena. So would it automatically set your temperature back too?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Would.
So, and
It all
again,
works
you
hand
could,
in hand.
and not only that, but you could, again, with different commands, program it to do different things, and the lighting as well. There was one function we had they set up that said it was more of like you wanted to relax. It was your relax function. So Google, put it into relax mode. And what it does is it dims the lights down. It puts on more soothing music. And so it basically creates different settings and atmospheres for you.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and you were calling them scenes, Craig, like a choreography or a scene of a play or something like that. You're kind of casting your home in
absolutely.
different
Whether
settings.
you're going to bed or getting up in the morning or taking a shower, in your bathroom, you can have lights turn on to a certain shade or certain color. Or if you're getting up in the middle of the night, you can have a light dim so you're walking in the bathroom, it's not blinding you.
And they have it dialed down to the exact feature. So as an example, in the master bath at the project house, they programmed it to have a Jack command, meaning a son's going in to take a shower, and a Jill command, meaning the daughter is. So when you say the Jack command, both mirrors are wired with the lighting as well. So when you say the Jack, only one of the mirrors turns on, the shower setting turns on to exactly the temperature and stuff. And then if you say the Jill command, that mirror shuts off, the other mirror turns on for Jill on the other side. So it's pretty neat what's going on in the smart home environment right now.
I thought you were going to tell me on the Jack command the toilet seat would come up and on Jill command it would go down.
Well,
we
have that as well. So,
Yeah, that's a good idea.
It's a self-cleaning toilet, actually.
Yeah.
Nice.
Can you talk a little bit more about the project home at Inspirata? This is something you just unveiled. It's going out nationally and just in time for CES. I think that's really neat.
Yes, Dan. So absolutely. So this is a house we're very proud of. So this has been going on for over a year between the planning and the construction of. So we had collaboration meetings with our sponsors and partners going way back to over a year ago. We started the construction right around July of this year and completed in October. And it has all the latest technology that we want to demonstrate and show off. It's a 3 to 4 bedroom house with 2 baths. It's a 2-story house, and it has it's approximately 3,200 square feet. And so it's a neat setup to where it's got a main floor that's a living floor. It's basically functions as a 1-story, but it also has what we're calling a suite upstairs. And it's a suite that could get secured by a door if you have people that are living up there that are part of your family. Or part of our thought process here was you could also secure that door. It has its own separate entry from the outside, and you could use it to offset your payments if you wanted to have a tenant up there or you wanted to do an Airbnb or anything of that sort. It helps with the cost of home ownership. And so our whole purpose of that was to have that door that would seal. So if you had your kids home from college and you wanted them, or kids after college are still staying home and living with you like happens nowadays, you could keep that door open and it's freely functioning between the first and second floor. But if you have other folks like tenants or things of that sort, you could seal that door off.
Could even be for a caregiver. A big thing now is aging in place. So if you're living downstairs and there's a master down and there's a master up, caregiver could live upstairs and take care of you as you get older. You're not going to have to move out.
I feel you.
Yeah. Yeah. I like to think of it as like a casita on the second floor.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's interesting. A multi-function house. It's adaptable to a new family could move in there and adapt it to how they wanted to use it.
Well,
Well,
you can have a movable wall.
Yeah, Paul, I was going to bring that up. The other really neat function is we have a space that's about 150 square feet. We call it our flex room. And because we have a wall that moves back and forth with the flick of the switch on the wall, You could move it all the way back, and it opens up an entertaining space and makes the space bigger if you want. Or you can move it forward, seal doors off that are within the movable wall, and a Murphy bed goes down, and you can make it into a bedroom. And you could also make it into a study. There's a desk that sits below the Murphy bed, and you don't have to move it at all. It actually just folds down right over top of it. So it has 3 different functions within the same space.
Yeah, I really like that. When I walked in the front door, that was the first thing you showed me, and I thought, hey, I'm in a James Bond movie here with that wall moving backwards gradually. Yeah. It's a motorized wall on 2 tracks. The whole wall shifts backwards, and there's pocket doors on either side to go in and out of the room, so those slide in and out. So it was pretty amazing. I thought it was on a
pretty nice wet bar in there as well.
Oh, that's right. Yes, yeah.
In the wall.
Yeah.
In the wall.
Yeah.
This is a great concept. I like this idea.
Well, the thought
fun.
process too is, Paul, is people are looking at the cost of home ownership nowadays, and at KB we constantly are trying to focus on affordability. So from our standpoint, if somebody could buy a smaller home but have a flex space to where they could use it, the same space, for 3 to 4 different things, all within a smaller home, which allows it to be more affordable, we think that's a game winner right there.
That's great.
Let me see. You got a room with a desk, a wet bar, and a bed. I'd never leave the room.
There you go, 150 square feet. It's your
Yeah.
What else does a guy need?
Yeah, exactly. And I like the wine refrigerator. It was Vino Temp, I think. And so they have basically about 4 or 5 bottles. It's got clear glass doors on it, and they have like different vintages of wine hooked to pour spouts. So you can basically, and it's chilled at the same time. So I thought that was really neat. Something to see.
I can see myself spending a lot of time in that room. We'll get further into some of the other rooms when we come back to Shades of Green on KDWN. We'll be right back. Good morning. We are back to Shades of Green radio show on 720 AM and 101.5 FM here in Las Vegas. Our show is produced by Green Alliance of Nevada and sponsored by NV Energy, and I am your host, Paul Ira. We have in studio Brian Kunec, president of KB Home of Las Vegas, and Greg LeMessurier, senior director of public relations. Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning. And we're talking smart homes, and sounds like very nice, comfortable homes as well. So let's talk about the photovoltaic, the solar, generation panel, battery storage, electric car charging, that kind of concept that's going on in your homes.
Yeah, so Paul, at the project house out at Inspirata, we worked with Tesla, and we provided a very large array of solar panels on the home. I think it produces 8 kilowatts, so it's a fairly large-sized system on there. But the cool part about it is that coupled with, we have 2 power walls in the garage, and those 2 batteries, those power walls hold 13 kilowatts of power, and so they're charged during the day. And you could use those power walls to charge your car at night if you have an electric car like a Tesla. And you could also power your whole house. So it really creates an environment of making an energy-independent home.
It's interesting how we're now using battery storage. And I'd said a few years back, whoever figures out the storage thing is going to be the next quantum leap in the energy efficiency world. I've got a JB3, one of those speakers that's a Bluetooth speaker that I use when I'm working out in the yard and stuff. It'll actually charge 5 phones at the same time that it's playing music. So pretty cool stuff. So charging your batteries up so that you can run your home at night and charge your car with no electricity, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I know Tesla is, not to speak for them, but they're working on more innovative products as well. As an example, I think it's fairly common knowledge that in the future, instead of having the solar panels that you see generally on everybody's roof, they're working on solar tiles, which they hope to bring into production soon, which essentially looks very similar to the roof tile you see on a normal house, but it's actually, each one of those is a powering panel that'll collect solar. So it'll make your house look, a lot less obtrusive with the big panels on there, but still produce all the solar power.
One of the important things, too, is the cost. If you think about 10 years ago, the cost of solar and net zero home, you're talking $25,000, $30,000 for the same kilowatts that we have on that house. Today, you're looking $8,000, $9,000. So last 8 years, it's come down dramatically, which obviously makes it more affordable for home buyers in the area.
Yeah, when I first started working in Nevada in 2005, to buy solar panels was $12 a watt just to buy the panel. Now we're building solar-covered parking for under $2 a watt.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So yeah, the prices come way down. 8 kW, that is a very large system for a home. Is it all mounted on the roof?
Yeah, so it's mounted in 2 different spots. One set of panels is mounted on the roof of the garage, and the other set of panels is mounted on the backside of the actual main house.
Yeah, I think everything's south-facing.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's all good. We like it south-facing. Those north-facing solar arrays don't work with a darn. So let's talk about the Delos. I'm not familiar with that. Tell us about that and all the rest of these things that go together with Nest and Dish Smart Home Services.
Yeah, so we're ultra excited to talk about Delos and our partnership with Delos. They so you have the Google Home system, which is kind of the brains of the operation with the Google Assistant. But that partnered with Delos, which has a system that's called Darwin, is focused specifically on the health and wellness factor of your home. So, you go back over human history, and I think you'll find that the majority of the time people spent their time outdoors. And so, pollution-free air, drinking clean water. Well, the fact of the matter is people nowadays spend about 90% of their time indoors. And so, studies have shown that the biggest impact on your health and wellness, moreover than even exercise and getting outside and working and playing, is how healthy and how livable is your home within the indoor environment. And so Delos really focus on that with their Darwin system. And so it's really cool. It's got a couple components to it. It's got it deals with water purification. So it's got mechanisms hooked up to your main water supply that come in your house that actually clean it and clean it extensively. As your water comes through the pipes in the public water system, it picks up certain material and minerals and things of that sort. The Delos system cleans that and purifies that water before it comes into your house. Another thing it does is air purification. So throughout the project house, there's, I think, 10 or 11 air monitors in each room. And you can look at your app, and it'll show different parts of your house on the floor plan, and it'll show it as green if the air quality is acceptable. Or if you get 20 people in a small room and there's a lot of CO2 that starts getting produced, it'll flash red, and it'll also remediate that. So when it finds too much CO2 in that room, it'll start up the fans and push more oxygen into that room to balance it out. So it really creates a clean air environment from a particle standpoint, but also from an oxygen and a CO2 standpoint. And then a third component is lighting. And so Delos really focused on circadian rhythm lighting. And so essentially what that means is they program the lights in your house through the Delos, the Darwin system, to go from very dim in the morning and follow basically the path of the light throughout the day. And so it helps wake you up. It slowly gets brighter in the morning. It peaks around noontime, and then it'll slowly start getting a little bit darker. And I'm not a scientist, but it supposedly at night affects your melatonin levels as it dims down, makes you a little more sleepy, so you get a good night rest at night.
So your house is controlling you.
It's suggesting.
Yeah. Well, the CO2 concept, that's a great idea. I mean, we do a lot of that in the commercial world or in like school districts and what have you. Put a CO2 sensors in the classrooms because it has an effect on studying. So it doesn't get monitored enough, but that's a great concept to have in a home as well.
Yeah, and we're excited. I think, today we're announcing that us as one of the larger production builders in the country, we're in partnership with Delos, and we're actually going to roll out on a production standpoint on a limited basis in California the first what I call production type models of the Delos Darwin system in our KB homes. So we're very excited about that, and we believe there's a bright future there. There's a lot more focus, obviously, on health and wellness, especially indoors, and so we're very excited about that partnership.
So with all of this capability of this home, how do you sit down with a homeowner, and how do you start with a design process with them?
And so on the design process side, I think it first starts with the floor plan itself, right? You need to make sure that it meets the needs of the homeowner itself, whether they want single-story living or they want two-story living. And then you look at the structural options, right? How many bedrooms do they need? Is it a bigger family? Is it a retired couple? And then from there, we walk through and we pick the interior options. Again, our whole model is we want you to basically semi-customize your house to see fit on your budget. And so we go through the interior options. I see the technology part of this, the Google Home and the Delos that's going to get rolled out hopefully nationwide at KB Home in the future as part of that process. So that's another layer of the smart home process to where, you sit down with one of our design studio consultants or somebody from the Dish Network Home Services and customize the smart home system that makes sense for you, along with your budget.
I love that stuff. That's great. So the homes are somewhat custom. And let's talk some more about this when we come back. KDWN 720 AM, Shades of Green. We'll be right back. Good morning, and we are back to Shades of Green, KDWN 720 AM. So we have Brian and Craig from KB Home in studio today, and we're talking new homes, home automation, the new high-tech homes with some new announcements just out today, the Delos system and what have you. Let's go back just a little bit and talk some more about the solar part, the battery storage, shared economy, community concept. Let's talk about that. What does that all mean?
Yeah, Paul. So, one of the exciting concepts we're rolling out with the Project House at Inspirata, we talk mainly about what's inside of the house, but what we're trying to demonstrate is what we believe the future is going towards, which is a shared community concept. So what that means is, instead of your typical subdivision nowadays to where everybody has a garage, there's roadways throughout each of the subdivisions that you see in Las Vegas. This will be more of a socially programmed environment to where not everybody's, there going to be community garages to where people would share cars, like a Tesla car as an example, on an app to where somebody would reserve the car and use it. Not everybody would have their own cars. But I think an important part of it is also it would have community garden themes in it. It would have social spaces to where people could come outside while they're gardening and interact, come out and play. The kids could come out and play. And the really neat idea behind it is, from a business standpoint, you could take the same amount of space as a typical subdivision nowadays and plan it out to where you could get more homes within that space. So from a home builder standpoint, that's better financially. But the amount of open space increases 4 times as much because you're getting rid of roadways, you're getting rid of garages, you're creating more open space and community gardens. So we really believe it has some legs to it, and that shared community concept moving forward for a subdivision is something that will gain traction over time.
Yeah, I got to believe especially in senior living where you're not commuting every day, the shared automobiles would be a great idea. I could see doing that. The rest of the time you can be riding bicycles or whatever to the grocery store instead of driving your car, which makes a lot of sense.
If you think how much everybody uses Uber today, and that's the way it's going, right? And that's the way we sort of see it. People will be using the same car. And maybe it's one garage with 3 cars in it, and you use your time when you need it.
And, Uber makes sense not just because you don't have a car, but like I was thinking about going to the CES show with 180,000 people coming to town. It's a nightmare to drive down there. I thought, why don't I just take an Uber and drive down there? Yep. So that's probably how I'll get there, or go park in a casino someplace and walk over. Yep. We were talking about the HVAC, and you have a performance guide. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so, KB is still one of the few production builders that Energy Star certifies every one of their houses. Well, as part of that, a few years back, we rolled out what we call our EPG, which is an energy performance guide. And essentially what it does is when we do our energy testing within the home, it produces a score, and it's a HERS score or HERS rating, which essentially monitors, as the higher the HERS score is, the worse the performance of your house is, and as the lower it is, the better performance of your house is. On top of that, we've calculated in the models, just taking standard houses versus standard resale, every one of our houses will display what your utility bills will be if you buy that brand new house, versus what the utilities would be to buy, as an example, a 10-year-old resale house. And when you look at that guide, there's a dramatic difference between buying a new home that's built up the new codes with all the Energy Star building techniques within it versus a resale home.
There's surely a lot of difference there. We know about the older homes. So what kind of I know we talk about HERS ratings, which is, Stan, what's that mean?
That's a home energy residential system rating.
And how's the number system work?
Right. So it's like a thermometer. Basically, the base number is 100, and that's based on, as you said, an older home built to code, a standard code home. A HERS rating of 50, it would have double the energy efficiency. It would consume half the amount of energy. So the more efficient HERS rating is the lower scores, sort of like a golf score.
So what's a numerical index on your EPG?
So right now in Las Vegas, our average HERS score rating is a 52.
Okay.
So we're basically almost double the amount of energy efficiencies as a 10-year-old, call it resale home.
But a buyer, they're not going to really understand. Well, they do understand it, but what they really see is the green, the money, right? So we display, this home might cost $100 to run a month versus a home down the street, which is $220 a month. That's what they're really looking at. It's like an MPG for a home.
Right. So your EPG rating on a 52 HERS, would your EPG rating be a 5?
No, the EPG is something separate from the HERS score. So the HERS score is just a rating of the energy efficient part of the house, but our EPG is more of, to Craig's point, it kind of displays in numerical monthly payment terms.
Oh, okay. So it's more
what
of a
this
dollar
would cost
score.
to operate versus what a resale would cost.
How much you're saving over a year, how much you're saving over a 30-year mortgage.
So it's an energy comp, if you will.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, interesting. Very good. So let's talk about the, I don't know if we covered the whole smart plumbing thing. Did we get all that in there?
We covered the smart plumbing. One additional thing I wanted to mention, which I think is a great feature in the project house at Inspirata, is there's a system that's developed by Finn, and it hooks. It's basically a 2x2, electric box that hooks to your main water supply.
Yeah, it's in line, right? The water flows through it. Yeah,
the water flows through it. And in an application based on the Finn model, you could pull up and see what your water consumption is real time and by day and get the history and stuff. So as an example, if you're away on vacation and the water volume all of a sudden starts spiking on a day, it could potentially detect the plumbing leak that you have in your house if nobody's in your house using the water. So not only from saving money and figuring out what your historical consumption is, but also on a preventative measure. So it'll shut your water supply off if you find an error or you think you have a leak.
Would that be programmable?
Yes.
To program how much water we want to use and put a max on it, maybe?
I'm not sure if it has that capability or not, but I'm assuming with the function in the app, there's a possibility to do that.
So what I found where the real water leaks are is your irrigation system.
Yep.
You seldom have big leaks in the house. You know about them right away. Mm-hmm. But an irrigation leak can go on literally for months and you don't know about it. So that would be a great feature.
Yeah, exactly.
Great feature. What's the next thing you want to bring to our attention on these homes? Anything we didn't cover that's...
I think we missed the smart toilet.
How smart can a toilet be?
Well, it cleans itself.
Cleans itself.
That's good.
So does it have hands?
No hands.
Just a brain.
Yeah.
How about a bidet?
It has one of those.
Yeah, so we have obviously the state-of-the-art bipolar toilets in the house, and so when you walk in front of it, it's got a sensor, and it opens the seat up for you. You sit down in it. What Craig mentioned is it's self-cleaning. But I think another cool feature of the house, and it's not a component of the toilet itself, but we also have displayed a gray water system.
Right.
And so all the water that's recycled from the showers and that gets captured in a gray water system, which is more of a residential size system. And that water is used for irrigation or flushing toilets. And so it saves you 25% on the water consumption side as well.
Wow, that's interesting. A gray water system in a residential. That's cutting edge stuff. Yeah. So thank you very much for being on the show today. We want to mention Shades of Green.
Greenfest coming up on April 20th.
Thank you, Stan. Tell us more about that. Where's it going to be?
Downtown Summerlin. It's our annual big event, feature all things green, 120 booths or more, and a chance for family to learn sustainability and have fun.
It is a lot of fun, so join us in April for Green Fest. And tune in next week to Shades of Green radio show on KDWN 720 and 101.5. We'll be back next week, and keep it green out there.